I think one of the key factors for me is understanding the world that you live in, understanding what role you play in that journey.
Ancient texts and traditions and the wisdom of our past tells us that we live in a universe of cycles, and cycles within cycles, nested cycles. My thought process was that if we could understand the nature of cycles in our lives, it would help to give meaning to what appear to many to be meaningless events that are happening in our lives today. The chaos of war, economic collapse, the tremendous poverty, the economic collapse, the environmental collapse that we're seeing in our world, in our lives today.
The beauty of understanding patterns is it gives us a base to be able to make our choices from. And if you don't understand your patterns, it's a bit like being a leaf and blown around in the wind, and you have no idea really what's going to happen. If we understand how a pattern can grow, and we live our lives in accordance with how a pattern can grow, we can make wiser choices about our lives.
For me, it means that the fractal pattern of my life, if I choose to do nothing, will probably continue and perpetuate the same patterns that I've lived of success or failure in relationships or career, whatever that means. Again and again and again, it'll show up in my personal life, it'll show up in my family, it'll show up in my friendships, it'll show up in my career. Again and again, precisely the same kinds of patterns. Unless I choose to make a change, a little change in the way I think of myself or the way I choose to respond to the crises or the challenges of my life. And those little patterns, those little changes for me are the shifts in the fractal that allow me to launch a new trajectory.
Understanding your world is really two things. It's both understanding your own world, getting to know yourself, and it's also understanding the outer world, and i.e. that area of the world that really interests you. So you need to ask yourself those fundamental questions of what interests you, where are your passions, and where are your skills. And once you know what interests you and where those areas lie, then you go to the second part of really researching and understanding your world and getting to understand that whole area really, really thoroughly. But as long as you ask the right questions and look in the right areas, then you start to build up a picture of your world.
And so, you know, if there's a wave coming in, you either better know how to surf or swim, or you better get back on the shore. And we can learn to cooperate with these patterns. We can learn to cooperate with cycles and trends and so forth.
And then from that basis, from that understanding, you can much more easily define what your purpose is. Because now you know where the trends, where the patterns are going, you can therefore define and align your own purpose with those patterns. So both your own life is able to grow much more easily, and also hopefully you can make a much bigger difference in your life.